All right. Welcome to Digital Zeal. This is Python training section. Um, like I've notified us via the WhatsApp group. We last time think I had only two persons joining the class, and I want to believe that those of us that did not join that section must have done justice to the video that was posted. Because we are going to use some of the concepts in those last classes, definitely to look at some application development. Now, just to draw your attention, remember what we advertise for is basic and intermediate Python, not to the advanced. So the advanced class we follow once we end this particular section. For those of us that are interested in subscribing or renewing our registration to gain access to that advanced aspect, you will get the information probably when we are almost ending with this section, talking about the application development section, because we have about 4 different applications to develop randomly. 4 different applications. Now, I carefully choose these applications because these are applications that we can actually develop within the skills we have acquired so far. So I wouldn't want to go beyond what is obtainable with the skills that we're already having since we started this training. So I've been able to map out 4 different real life application that you can actually develop for someone to solve real life problem. Though we are going to be executing them via the terminal, not via the Python graphical user interface. That is what we have access to when we subscribe into the advanced aspect, so that we will be able to display our results outside the development environment. So there will be a different application, user interface application, that will allow users to see the outcome of whatever you must have developed. Okay, so tonight we are looking at we want to develop an application that can help a school organization, let's say an application that can help schools to manage their student results. So we target student results management system application. Now, whenever you want to develop an app, the first thing you do, like we have established, you need to know your algorithm. You need to know the step by steps on how you are going to achieve your aim. And then, if possible, you draw out your flow charts. So your flow charts only inform you the order of implementing or designing the application. So in this case, since we are starting a new app, I am going to start from creating a new project, so that everything about this application will be within that project. So this was one of the projects we're using to learn. So remember, when we started, I taught us how to set up a project, how to create a file within a project. Okay, so to create a new project, all I need to do is to go to the File tab, Then from the File tab, we should be able to waiting for it to drop. I don't know if let's see, waiting for the app to respond. Okay, so from the File tab, we click on New Projects. And then your project is expected to have a name, all right, within the installation folder. I'm talking about where the application, the PyCharm itself, was installed. So you can either go with this name. I think one of my key is pressing down. Let me be sure of what I'm doing. So I click on New Project, and then I give the project a name. So let's say we are creating student management application. Student app. Student app. Let's say we are creating student app. All right, so that is the name of the folder. And then after that, the next step is for me to take advantage of this repository. That is, you want to be
So
want to say something? Go ahead.
so yeah, I wanted to ask that you know I
The network
don't
is,
use
your voice is breaking. Maybe you should use the message. Ask your question through the message, and your network is breaking. I can't hear you. Okay, so I was talking about all this, how you can configure them. This is actually optional. What we call Git. Git is a repository where so many things has been created that you can tap from. So you can decide to say, okay, you want to take advantage of that. And then we have also discussed what to do with this. Create a welcome script. That is, you want to create a project or a file that will come with already made or that will come with already made scripts. So if you want it, you click, though you can actually wipe them off. If you fail, you do not need them. Now here, you need to configure your interpreter. Of course, you cannot work with any Python IDE without understanding what the interpreter is all about. So the interpreter is just like the background engine that does the conversion. So let's go with what project then V which is already set up for us. Then you choose the Python version. All right. Now remember that you take note of where this particular file or folder, which will represent your project, will be stored. You can trace the URL from here. It's going to be in a drive C, and then inside user, and then the Guero PyCharm project. And then from there, you can find it just in case you want to take it from the system you are currently working with to another system. All right. Okay, so once you are done with all the settings, you click on create. So the moment you click on create, because we have some existing window opened, that is why it's asking that should you open it in a new window. I will say what? Yes, it should open it in a new window so that it look as if I'm starting afresh. All right. Now, once you have done that, the next thing is for you to create a file. You can see that we are inside what? Student app. We are inside student app. And some of these things that came up was because of that default setup that we inherited. Okay, so once you are inside your project folder, the next thing is for you to create, okay, just fully open now. So this is actually the default, came, it's as if my video is cracking. I hope you can still hear my voice over there. Okay, I think I should be back now. Okay, so once you have, so this was the main.python. So this file came as a default. All right, so you can either go ahead with it as your main file or you can do away with it. You can even clear off all this information. We don't need them. That is, you don't want to inherit any of those default scripts. So you can clear them off if you don't want them. Now we are going to create our own file just in case we don't want to go ahead with this particular file. So remember, while you are inside your project, you go back again. This time around, you are going to create a file. You are going to click on new file. So you go to new, and then once you click on new, Python is going to ask you, or the program, the ID is going to ask you, what type of file do you want to create? So we select Python file, and then we give it a name. So I can say what the name is app.py. The name is what? App.py. All right. Now, once you have typed the name, you press enter, and then you can see that we now have two different files. All right. We now have two different files, but the entire development of this app will not require more than one file. Probably when we get to the advanced, where we'll be talking about Python modules or packages, that is where we might have to work with multiple files so to reduce or to split our code. But for this particular app, we can do that with just one file. So let's assume that I'm using this. Like I said, let me use comment to highlight what we are looking at tonight. So we are developing student results management application. So that is our focus. Student result management application. All right. So like I was highlighting at the beginning, you must understand the problem this app is going to solve. So this is for a school that wants to be able to collect student name and then all the subjects the student is offering, including probably their scores, and then calculating the performance of the student, grading the student, remarking the students. All right, so this will help them to know, to measure the performance of their students. So that is exactly what you are trying to address with your app. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is to print a kind of line. So let's say I do something like this. Inside my string, then I will add a bunch of equal sign like this. So this is to print a kind of, because we are going to print everything as a result sheet. All right, so we are trying to have a line. All this one is just for design. You just want to print line. That is what we are trying to do with that. Then I also have another line, and this we probably, before the line, okay, the first one will give us a line at the top. It's just a design, it's optional. Then followed by just to give a title so that by the time the app is opened, whoever is using the app will know, oh, what is this app all about? So I will just say student result system. Let me just give it this name, student result system. All right, so I'll print another line under this particular statement. I'll print another line under this particular statement. So just make sure you are following the steps. Print another line. So if you have counted the number of equal sign you use in the first one so that the lines will be equal, to be fine. Then outside this, then I have to collect the student name dynamically. Remember, everything we are going to, I try as much as possible to look at this app from the angle of what we have learned so far. So there's no skill actually that is outside what I have taught us. So that is why I have been clamoring people should practice those videos, go through those videos, because individuals that have not been following might have issue with some of the aspects of this app, because it's actually the implementation of everything we have learned individually. So here we are like bringing them together to form a real life application. Okay, so since we want to collect the student name, remember I told us that you either collect them statically or you collect them what? Dynamically. If we are collecting them dynamically, it means that we are going to provide a box. All right, we are going to provide a text box for them to impute the name. So for instance, a student walk into the admin office and he or she want to check his or her results. So what we need is just to collect the student name, collect the subject, and then they will print out what? A result worksheet. Okay, so we want to provide a means for the student to impute their name. Okay, so to do that, we're going to use the impute function. All right, so I'm going to say student. So I'm creating a variable now, student underscore name, assign input, Then we are asking them to enter their name. So I will say what? Enter student name. Enter student name. For instance, enter student name. Okay, so once we have typed that, so we go down. Let's run this and see what we have developed so far. So you can see those equal sign just to give us this line. I'm just trying to, since we are not putting in a real maybe user interface, so at least we are trying to have a design to make it look a little bit nice. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do is to collect the student subject scores. So if the student is offering about 9 subjects, so we have to create variable and also provide an input to collect those information. But this time around, there are certain input we are going to collect from the student that will require conversion, because we were taught that by default, the input function collect all value as string. So this time around, if we are collecting mathematics, mathematics should be converted to float, not even integer, because a student can score 70 points. That is why I'm not going to convert the input to what? Integer. Instead, I'm going to convert to what? Float, to give room for what? Decimal units. Okay, so for that, let's just work with 3 subjects, but your own, that you are going to do as an assignment. So probably you can increase the number of subjects. So let's say for mathematics, I'm collecting floats. Remember, float. All right. So float is like a data type conversion. All right. So I'm going to next the input, which is going to collect the data inside the float, and then I will now instruct enter the mathematics score. All right, so let me just put that there. Enter math what score. Enter math score. All right, so let me put a column to show that I'm expecting a value to follow. Then, like I said, we are just collecting just 3 subjects. So let's say English, English, I will also do the same, float, then input, then I will also say enter English score. So let's collect the third subject, let's say computer, float also, input, enter computer score, enter computer score. All right, so now we want to add all the subjects together. So let me just use a comment to explain this here for those that are writing. So here we want to calculate the total score. Here we want to calculate the total score. And how do we do that? We create a total variable, and then we simply say math plus English plus computer. So that settles that. Now we want to calculate the average. We would like the average to be calculated. So I will now create a variable called average. And the average is the sum, is the total divided by the total number of subjects, which is 3. So we already know that. Now we want to bring in now, because the average will be measured based on the scores. All right, that is how we usually compute our results. The average depends on the scores. So we are going to write if conditional statement. Remember, that was the last, I think, second to the last topic where we're talking about Python control structure that I said is broken into 2 arms. We have the conditional statement, and then we have the loops. All right. So this one, I want to look at it with the conditional statement. So we want to write if statement, conditional statement, that we, check the average. So I'm going to say if, so average is now the expression, is now the criteria for, so if average is greater than or equals to 70. So this is just like you are grading your students. All right, the column. So if you have watched that video, you understand Python conditional statement structure. All right, so what will happen? Where the average, let's assume that the scores of the 3 subjects are added. All right, and if the average, if the results, if the sum of those 3 subjects are added divided by 3. All right, now if whatever outcome, if the value produced, which is going to be your average, if it is greater than or exactly what 70, what do you want Python to grade that person? So that will now bring out what? Grade. That will now bring out what? Grade. So grade will be assigned grade A. All right. Now, what should be the remark that should follow where the grade is A? So you quickly what? Call remark. Create a variable there and say what? Remark. So remark assign what? Excellent. Remark assign excellent. So that is for that condition. Now, if you remember when we were talking about Python control structure, there was something I was emphasizing on, that the if conditional statement can only output what? The true value. They will now have the S, which output what? The false value. But in between the true value and the false value, we can decide to have multiple what? True value. That was what led to the usage of elif, because before we get to F9, there are a lot of what? True values. So we cannot just say S now, because somebody can score 60, that's still within what? Credit. Somebody can score 50, that's still within, let's say, pass. So at this point, we are still declaring the true value, but we have just declared the capital word true value, but there are other true value. And how do you capture them? That is where you bring in what? Elif. I told us if you have not gone through the previous class, you are going to probably have some issue. So I'm going to say what? Elif average, because it's still the criteria for the calculation. Elif, if average, just like another true value. If the first one is not met, then check this one. That is what we are communicating. So elif average, this time around we are saying that if average is greater than or equals to, so let's check for 60, since we have checked for 70, then follow the structure. Then what should be the grade? So the grade should be grade B. And then what should be the remark? So the remark should be very good. Very good. All right, so we are done with that. Then we'll go to the next one. We still have another true value. Another elif come in here. Another elif comes in here. So elif average again. Average 50. Let's check for 50. Average what? Greater than or equals to 50. Let's try 50. Grade should be, what should be our grade? Grade should be 50. Grade should be good. I think grade should be good. The remark, sorry, grade should be C. Yes, this should be for remark. So grade should be C. The remark should be for the good. Right. So we still have another elif. So you can see the couple of elif because we are still declaring what? Possible true values. Possible true values. So Python will check all of them before it fall back to what? Whatever value you provide as your S to be your negative value. So elif average again. Elif average. What should be average? Average for this should be greater than or sorry, greater than or equals to 45. Let's check 45. Then grade should be fair. Grade should be fair. And the remark should be, no, we're going to change the grade. Grade should be D rather. So remark should be fair. Or I'm going to edit it. So here should be D. All right. So any other score, we go for okay. Let's try E for pass, so we can have more of the elif used. So elif average greater than or equals to, let's try 40. Grade should be, grade of this one should be E. Let's use E. And the remark should be pass. Good. These are line. Then every other one is fail. Any other one is fail. So this is where you bring in your S, right? Because at this point you are done declaring all your true values. So S S, go to the next line, S, grade. In other words, anybody that is not graded among the above status should be the one to be categorized as grade grade F, which is remark should be fail. The remark should be fail. All right. So once we have done this, the next thing we are going to do is to generate the result. All right. So at this point, let me use comment here. From here, here we want to generate student result report now. At this point, generate student reports. So how do we generate the student report? So I'm going to print then here I'm printing new line, which we have already learned when we started. After the new line, we want some. This is just to create a line. I believe you understand that. Then just to also have a heading that states reports. Let's also print student reports. Then immediately after that, let's have another line just to form a design. So use your equal sign, also generate. All right, so now let's start printing all those variables that we have captured. So the first one will say print name. Then you call the variable outside print name, student underscore name. Student underscore name. So we are supposed to put a comma here. Then print. So these are the list of what we want to output. So the next one will be mathematics. Then put a comma, and then the variable you declare for maths. Then print. I think the next one should be English. Comma. The variable for English. These are values we want to obtain. That's why we are printing them. Print. And the next one is for the computer. Yes. Computer, then comma. The variable for the computer as well. Right. So the next one is to print the total. We would like to see the total because the report should give us all the breakdown. So print total, comma, total. So another thing again we would like to print is the average. We also want to get the average after printing total. Print average, comma, average, the way we studied it. So the next one is print the grade. Grade. Print the grade. Then the way you store your grade. Then the next one is print remark. Remark, comma, the way you created your remark as well. All right, so after this, we'll print another line at the bottom, just to only try to, since we are not outputting our result in a graphical user interface, we are only trying to have a simple design, even in our terminal. All right, so let me just have this line design here. All right, so now let's run the app and see how it's going to generate all the information. So let's run it again. So we are having an error. Is there any place where what is it saying here? And to find out, the SQL will not. Okay. Is there any place where we have no, my keyboard, one of the keys presently. Hope this will not tamper with everything that I've written. Please just give me a minute. Okay, so I think my keyboard wiped out some session before. I want to see if I have returned them. I think there was a place where I wanted to. Okay, I think I am good now. All right, so let's say we put our server's name, let's say Prosper, and then it's asking me for Prosper math score. So let's say Prosper score 90, and it's asking for Prosper English score. Let's say Prosper score 80, and it's asking for computer score. Let's say 60, and then you see that it automatically printed the entire result for Prosper. So this is the result. Prosper name, mathematics, average, total score and everything has been analyzed. I hope somebody understands it. If you have question, please. So if you have been following the class since, I don't think you have issue with this app, because indirectly we have treated all these functions individually. Any question, please? Any question?
Yes, yes. This uh, print and you highlight just like a assign. Is it a way of demarcating the statement or what?
Yes,
Because
yes,
nothing
yes,
is given there.
yes, yes.
Hmm.
That is what I say. It's just a design, just like you are ruling a
Okay.
line. You know, we are supposed to output all this in a graphical user interface. And even we have learned to that aspect. We are not supposed to be seeing all these details. All these details will have been sent to a database, right? It's part of those things we are going to learn under the advanced section, where we will create database, where all this information will go to, and the user's app will collect this detail from the database and show them per time, while this information still remain in the database. But because we are trying to display everything within the terminal, I just want a little bit design. We are not able to color here. We are not able to do all those stuff. So let me just use line to demarcate. That is the essence of it. So it's optional. Anywhere you see me writing a code like this is actually what? Optional. It's just me trying to design it, to demarcate some session. I hope that is clear. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so this is actually the first app.
Mhm.
This is the first app. Like I said, what I want to do is that I want us to be taking this app one after the other per class, so that everybody can go and work on them. Now, what you are going to do now, this particular one now, you can see that it's just three subjects, but your own you make it nine subjects. Nice subject. Now, in between, if you want to derive other calculation, it is permitted. You can expand your app scope, so long you understand the structure. Just like the way we calculated that average now, you can decide to say, okay, you have another information you want to get that will require adding the average and the total dividing by, you can figure that in, but this is like the standard. So you do it for nine subjects and then make sure that it's working very well, because the next we are going to look at another project entirely. But let me still wait to know if we have question. Do we have question? Any question, please? So if there's no question,
Scroll up a little bit. That place we see.
yeah,
I, I want to check. Yes, there's something I noticed. It seems you corrected it. That place you say print N.
yes, I remove it.
Um,
I
you
remove.
removed it.
That was what I removed.
Yes, because that's where the thing was saying that the code was not.
Yeah, yeah, I've removed it. I wanted
Mhm.
to return it, but it returned to the next line, so there's no need. Do we have any question? Okay, if we don't have question, now let me just chip in the loop effect. The loop. Remember, we talk about loop. I wanted to just chip it in the next class, but since I concluded this one on time, let me just chip it in here. Now, the loop effect was that the loop is a kind of Python code that will continue to run until a particular condition stopped it. Otherwise, we continue what? Running. Now, this is for one student. Let's assume that you want to use it to collect. Once you have collected the first person, or once you have calculated for the first person, you want to program the app in a way that it should ask you whether you want to enter another student name, so that once you say yes, then it will what? It will end the first student information and help you to what? To start collecting again. So all you need to do is just to add it here, So I can decide to say, okay, so let me just put a comment here so that we can capture that together. Let me just quickly settle that. So what we want to do here now is that we want to apply loop concept. To apply loop here. All right. So now the only thing we introduce, we still have our code the way it is. So we just create a variable called what? Choice. We just create a variable called choice, and then we will collect inputs. We collect inputs, and what is this input? This input will be, do you want to enter another student? The question. Then let me just put yes or no. So now we will now write a conditional statement. So if choice, so we are linking it up now. If choice dot lower, that is what? There's a reason why we are putting this case option, because somebody might enter the yes in capital letter and it might not see it. So even if the person enter a capital letter, it should convert to what? To the lower case, which is programmed within the app. That is the essence of this one. So we now say what? If lower, and then let's say exclamation mark here is equals to, so program small letter. So this is what we are actually programming, but we are writing this. If somebody enter capital letter, I should convert it to what? Lowercase before storing it inside the choice variable. Now, this is a conditional statement, so we have to put our condition sign there. Then print program ended. All right, so which means that is what we tell the program to end. That is after you have gone to the end of the previous one. Now, at the end of that, it should break. It should break, right? Which means that what? It should break from where the other one stopped. Okay, so we can actually do without it, because that's the last thing. Now, if we run it again, let's just run through it to confirm this new addition. Enter student name, let's say Eguero. Now enter Eguero's math score, let's say 80. Enter English score, let's say 70. Enter computer score, let's say there you see. Do you want to enter another student? So if I say yes, see, so it ends it, and then it will terminate. So the essence is just to terminate the program so that you can start all over. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this. So go, and everybody that joined here, because I know that for a while now we have been having 4, 2, 3%. As soon as all of us here that we are developing app, everywhere is filled up of students now. So everybody, as you are here, go and work on this project and submit it before next class. Please, everybody should screenshot. Once you have executed it, if possible, screenshot your result like this and send it to the group. Not your code, not your code, not your code.
I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah, just to get the code for this. Is it if choice dot lower or bracket? That's is it like one dot down assign yes or what? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. No, it's colon now.
Before
No, it's colon.
no, not that one, not the last one.
This one,
Before assign. Yeah, this one.
exclamation mark. It's just a
Okay.
sign. It's not compulsory. It's just a sign, exclamation mark.
Okay.
All right. So let me check the message. I think somebody was trying to ask question. Okay. I don't use Python. I use Python. Can this work here? Try it. It should be able to work. Okay. Somebody has not yes. Yes. Dot. Okay. Change the input to lowercase. Okay. All right. So good night then. Go and work.
Sir, if you don't put that exclamation and you say assign yes, can it work?
You remove this one like this. You can see that
Yes.
now look at it. That exclamation mark is necessary.
It has shown red.
Yes,
Yes.
it's necessary because when we're learning what is it called? When we're learning operator, hmm? When we're learning operator,
Mm.
there's one that we if we put it that shows that
Yes.
how did we explain that time? That shows that it's not. It's not. So we need it. Just put it. Just make it a constant. All right then. So see you in the next class. So we have roughly, like I said, we are looking at 4 projects. So I'll see how we can handle 2 in the next session. So that which means that we have 2 more classes to end up this basic and intermediate training. So I don't want to go beyond 1 being the first one. Let everybody go and create this one first. The next class, I will try and take the other 2 at once. Then the last class, we take the last one out of the 4 random projects we want to develop that fall within what we have learned. Okay, so good night. Have a blessed week.
Thank you. Good night.